On a busy roadside, a young boy quietly arranged fresh flower bouquets on his small cart. Every time someone walked by, he looked up with hope. Because today's earnings weren't just money, they were dinner for him and his little sister. Just then, a luxurious car pulled over. The driver stepped out in a spotless uniform and spoke sharply. "Give me a beautiful bouquet, and make it quick." The boy smiled politely and began preparing the bouquet. As he worked, he gently sprinkled water over the flowers to keep them fresh. But in his hurry, the small water container slipped from his hands. A few drops splashed onto the driver's clothes. The driver's face instantly turned red with anger. "This is exactly what I expect from street kids. No manners, no responsibility, nothing." The boy immediately tried to apologize, but before he could say another word, the driver snatched the bouquet from his hands and threw it onto the ground. Without another glance, he got back into the car and drove away. The little boy quietly knelt down and gathered the scattered flowers. One by one, it wasn't the flowers that broke his heart. It was the money he had just lost. The money he needed to buy dinner for his little sister that night. A few moments later, the owner of the luxury car arrived. The driver instantly straightened his posture and hurried to open the door. As the car pulled away, the little boy ran after it. "Sir, please, my money for the flowers." But the driver didn't even look back. He rolled down the window, threw a few coins onto the road, and sped away. The boy silently picked up the coins. His hand stayed steady, but his eyes couldn't hide the pain of his wounded dignity. A few days later, the same little boy was selling flowers on another busy street. Then suddenly, the same luxury car stopped once again. This time, only the owner stepped out. Taking a deep breath, the boy gathered his courage. "Sir, would you like to buy some flowers?" The businessman smiled warmly and nodded. As the boy carefully arranged the bouquet, the man gently asked, "Son, why aren't you in school?" The boy quietly pointed across the street. Beside a broken wall, a tiny little girl sat patiently, waiting for her brother. The boy lowered his head and softly replied, "She's my little sister. Our parents are gone. I take care of her. I always make sure she eats first, and if anything is left, then I eat." The businessman's eyes filled with emotion. Before he could say another word, a familiar voice interrupted. "You again." The driver stormed over and shoved the boy with all his strength. The boy lost his balance. Every flower fell to the ground. Holding back his tears, he quietly bent down and picked them up. One by one, the businessman watched everything without saying a word. Then he slowly turned to his driver. His voice was calm, but every word carried weight. "Have you forgotten where I found you? You once walked these same streets, hungry, with nothing. When everyone else turned their back on you, I believed in you." The driver's head slowly dropped. Shame had stolen every excuse. The businessman continued, "Escaping poverty isn't the greatest achievement. The real success is keeping your heart kind. The moment you forget your own pain and start giving others the same pain, you've learned nothing from life." The driver had no answer. The businessman walked toward the children, knelt beside them, and smiled gently. "You don't have to live on the streets anymore. From today, you're not alone." The little boy looked at him in disbelief. For the first time in a long while, there was hope in his eyes. The businessman held the hands of both brother and sister, helped them into the car, and quietly drove away. The driver remained standing on the same road, alone, haunted by the person he had become. So friends, never forget where you came from, because the moment you forget your own pain, you begin to lose your humanity.